The temperature, single digits. The food, whatever they can forage. The shelter, non-existent. But for the Alaskans you're about to meet, home is where the heart is, and surviving it is the adventure of a lifetime. ABC's Neal Karlinsky headed out into the wild with these extreme survival experts, showing us what it really means to brave the elements.
We're mushing sled dogs across the frozen Alaskan wilderness, far from the nearest city.
Whoa, guys, let's go ahead and hold up.
No cars, no food, no shelter.
We spend a lot of the time just trying to slow these dogs down. There's a foot brake here that you can use.
We've come to Talkeetna, Alaska to find out firsthand, is it really possible to survive like this? Our guides, and let's face it, in my case, lifeguards, 26-year-old Iditarod champion and unstoppable outdoorsman Dallas Seavey, and 36-year-old Eddie Ayakak, native Alaska-born marathon runner and survival expert.
For Eddie and I and so many other Alaskans, the wilderness is our home.
Over the next 48 hours, they take us inside their world, where building shelters from scratch, starting fires without matches, even building snowshoes from tree branches is no big deal.
I would be far more afraid trying to spend a week on my own in New York than I would spend a week on my own in Alaska.
That's nice and cold.
There you go.
Dallas and Eddie are just two in a motley crew of outdoor survival elite who have put their life skills on the line for the National Geographic reality show Ultimate Survival Alaska.
One of the toughest competitions in the world is about to begin.
Oh, here we go. In the show, teams are dropped into the middle of the Alaskan outback with only the gear they can carry and some often impressive ingenuity to get them out.
Hang on. Pull, stop throwing.
But in every episode we saw, it seems that someone is always on the verge of catastrophe. Not TV catastrophe.
I hear rapids up ahead.
But real-life danger. In one episode, a contestant named Jimmy is feared drowned in a raging river after his boat tips over.
Is any of that set up? I mean, you guys end up in these situations, it looks like you're about to die on television.
The show intentionally put us in dangerous places. That was the objective of the show. It wasn't to go put us in, a national park with a paved sidewalk. So was it intentional that we got in really bad situations? No, but we were put in an element where that was a possibility, a very real possibility.
Marty, whoa. In another episode, a contestant falls off his dog sled, something that during my own sled dog training, Dallas told me was nearly impossible to recover from.
On the show, when that guy falls off, is that totally real?
It's definitely not planned. You're never going to intentionally lose a dog team. That's the worst case scenario. Because the dogs, they love to run. They're not going to stop for you. So fortunately, in that case, he was able to catch up with the dog team on foot, which is a rare feat.
Sure enough, our own experience wasn't all smooth sailing.
Whoa. You all right?
Yeah.
Wipe out.
You kind of have to walk duck-footed in snowshoes.
Snowshoeing with Dallas and Eddie, they told us that staying warm and having something to drink is critical.
That's the key, right? You warm the core.
You can heat people from the outside in, fire, warm clothes, etc. But then think about it, if you drink something hot, all of a sudden you're burning up.
We stomped down snow to clear an area to make a fire and then gather wood with a fold-out saw. Even when everything is soaking wet, they showed me birch bark and moss, which are perfect for getting a fire started.
This hairy, mossy stuff, we're going to use that to start a fire.
No matches, no lighter, no problem.
I'm going to smear some of this chapstick into this cotton ball, and it's going to act just like a candle.
Eddie keeps chapstick and a few cotton balls on him at all times. Sounds strange until you add sparks.
Well, there it goes.
Both carry a simple flint to scrape with a trusty knife, and soon we're melting snow over a raging fire. We add pine needles for flavor, a sort of backwoods tea.
If you put this in a cup at Starbucks, people would pay $5 for it.
Now that's just not saying that much about this, it's just saying a lot about people.
Dallas was busy showing us how to make a snowshoe from branches while the fire was getting started. Snowshoes are critical for walking through deep snow. Back on the dog sleds, I learned the art of mushing from Dallas, one of the best in the business.
Man, these dogs want to go. It's all I can do just to slow them down, especially on the turns.
He's doing really well for a first-time dog musher. Takes to it pretty naturally.
On Ultimate Survival Alaska, they're constantly on the move, over mountains, across rivers, all of it on a tiny supply of uncooked rice and beans, supplied by the show, plus whatever they can catch. Dallas and Eddie build a solid shelter in the trees for us like it's nothing. As night falls on our adventure, Eddie shows me his survival necklace.
You always want to have like a Leatherman.
So you got some tools, right?
Knife sharpener, a little mini LED light.
Yep.
Here's the flint.
That's the flint.
Eddie starts another chapstick and cotton ball fire despite soaking wet wood.
I mean, in terms of survival skills, this has got to be just about number one, right? Being able to start a fire?
Absolutely. If you have the ability to build the fire, that's going to buy you a lot of time.
Sitting in the glow of a warm fire on a freezing night, eating beans and rice from melted snow, everything tasted good and anything seemed possible for these two. For them, this series is just a way to show off their reality.
A true survivor is somebody who can go into the woods with a knife and a flint and stay there as long as he wants.
I'm Neal Karlinsky for Nightline near Talkeetna, Alaska.
A new season of Ultimate Survival Alaska premieres this Sunday, December 15th on National Geographic Channel.